On tap, Apricot Ale.
Better beer authority, better beer.
Hi, I'm Richard Hartogs, and this is your Better Beer Authority. Today, our blind taste test panel will try Cascade Apricot Ale from Cascade Brewing. This Portland, Oregon-based brewery dedicates itself solely to barrel-aged beers with more than 750 French oak, Kentucky bourbon, and Northwest wine barrels, with offerings in various stages of completion. Cascade Apricot is a Northwest-style sour that is a blend of various blonde ales aged in oak barrels for up to 12 months. Rather than use wild yeast strains, this sour is aged on fresh apricots for an additional 8 months in the process called lactic fermentation. It must be noted that Cascade Apricot Ale is only the second sour beer reviewed by Better Beer Authority. With the growing popularity in sour ales, I felt that it was a great opportunity to review Cascade Brewing's offerings after a recent trip to the West Coast. Cascade Apricot Ale comes in at 7.4% ABV. The sour ale receives a 96 on BeerAdvocate.com and is recommended to be served at 40 degrees. Cascade Ales are available for purchase on their website and several online retail outlets. Of course, you can always visit the Portland, Oregon Brewery and Barrel House to buy at the source. Let the blind taste test begin. Andrew, can you give me a brief description of the taste and the aroma, and what style of beer is this?
Style-wise, I mean, as soon as I put this to my nose, it's a sour, without a doubt. Aroma-wise is, aroma and taste are kind of similar, but the aroma-wise, you get some, if you give it a good swirl, you can pull some good fruit notes. We were talking earlier, maybe some lemon peel. The taste-wise kind of follows that, big fruit notes. But I mean, I'm a fan of sours, and this was just fantastic. This was really, really a nice treat.
Oh, that's right, it is a sour. Dave, this beer has been aged with fruit. Can you tell me what fruit it's been aged with?
It's really hard to pick out because when I taste it, when I smell it, I mean, I feel that it might have some like peach or nectarine in it. At least that's what I gather from it. I see Andrew's lemon peel in it, but I don't think that they threw a lot of lemon in there. I might be wrong, but I mean, when I smell it, I just feel, it's probably peach nectarine.
Okay. Yeah, I know what the beer is. I know
I hope so.
what fruit's been aged with. And I, even though I know it, I think blindly I would have trouble figuring it out. So Mark, welcome to the show.
Thanks.
Mark's been a long time fan of the BBA when it was still in Ohio. He lives here in the Washington, D.C. area, so I thought I'd invite him along. Mark, can you give us a brief bio of your beer drinking, and then tell me how this compares to other sours you've had?
Okay. Well, thanks so much for having me, Richard. I really appreciate the invite. And I've been a craft beer fan for about 10 years, recently become a more avid home brewer in the past 2 years, which I think has really improved my palate and tasting abilities, and probably the frequency of my tastings as well. Some of my favorite styles are pretty typical for a craft beer fan. I love IPAs, I love big boozy barrel-aged stouts, and I love sours. Some of my favorite breweries are things that are well known to the BBA, actually. I love Surly, I love Three Floyds, and I love Firestone Walker. Otherwise, those are the things that I tend to drink, and the breweries that I enjoy locally. I really like DC Brau. I think their Imperial IPA series is excellent. I love On the Wings of Armageddon. Alpha Domina Mellis was great. And then most recently their Mosaic Double IPA,
Solar Abyss. Yeah.
It's really nice. Highly recommended. How does this compare to other sours that I've had? This is another really complex sour. I'm getting a ton of fruit. Some lemon, tangerine, other orange and citrus fruits. But there's a huge pop of tart, funky aroma and taste that really just slaps you. And a lot of my complaints with other sours is they tend to be not tart enough, and that is not the case with this one.
No.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
All right, well, glad to have you here.
Thank you. Yep.
Andrew, the brewery recommends that this beer is served at 40 degrees, which to me seems a little cold, colder than other styles. Stouts I think sometimes up to 55 degrees.
Sure.
IPAs 45 degrees. So do you like this beer served as cold as it was, or would you rather have it warmer? And then give me a rating on 1.
Okay, well, I mean, with sours, I can certainly understand why to have it maybe a little bit colder. I mean, especially with this style, because the last two that really come to mind, like big sours, are Tart of Darkness and Sour on the Rye from Brewery. So especially Tart of Darkness, I could see where maybe something like that, a little bit darker, maybe a little bit warmer in this case. But for beer like this, it's definitely very fruit heavy. To me, it does make sense to have it a little bit colder than maybe some other styles. Rating wise, I'm a huge fan of sours. I'm giving this a 9. Really, really enjoy this. I can see where some people, if you weren't a fan of sours, I mean, I can see people giving this a 5 or a 6. You have to really, really, have a palate for sours to really kind of, it's not something you can make this your, dive in big time. You're going to get, really, really turned away. So I think for a beer like this is really phenomenal. So awesome. A 9 for sure.
Great. Dave, we're going to kind of pick up on where he left off. The sour style is really polarizing. People hate them, people love them. There's few in between. What's the appeal?
It's funny you mention that because before I even heard of sours, I would not think myself of drinking a bitter beer as it is. And then I started hearing, people go crazy for sours, so I'm going to trade for sours, I'm going to age sours. And so I just wanted to really find out what the appeal was for it. And then my first sour was actually Jester King Funk Metal. And it's a sour stout. I had it, and it just knocked me off my feet. I was like, wow, this is very good. And to me, I think the appeal is it's different. You're so used to IPAs. You saw I love the bitterness, or I love the coffee notes that you would get from a stout. And then you try a sour, and you get that. It's like, I don't know, like a metallic taste to it, but it's pleasant. It's not unpleasant. And then you pick up all these additional notes that you wouldn't see in any of the other regular beers. And personally, I really went for heavy, something that was pretty heavy. Sour stout is pretty up there, and I really couldn't tell you. It really depends on the person. It really depends on the palate. You might have to warm up to it, just like any other beer. But
give me a rating.
Going on the same note, I love sours, but I would give this an 8. And the reason why I say that, because out of personal experience, I know that if I was to recommend this to somebody, they might not like it, or they might say this is very different. They still might not like it, but it's an 8 for me, and it's a very good beer, very solid, very sour for from considering what I've had in the past, but it's a good beer, very good beer.
All right, 8 for Dave. Mark, I want you to discuss some of the other flavors you're pulling, and tell us about the appearance.
Okay.
And then give me your rating on why.
Okay. All right, so maybe I'll do the appearance first, if that's all right.
Sure.
So it's a really bright yellow, murky, very little clarity. There's a nice lacing on the glass that reagitates on swirling. Some other flavors that I think I'm really pulling off. I'm getting, again, a lot of tart, funky barnyard qualities, the lemon, the apricot potentially. Most recently, I had the pleasure to try Cantillon's Fufun, and that's a huge compliment to compare this beer to that. But there's a lot of similar elements with the apricot and citrus flavors. For rating, I'm giving it a 9. I think it's an excellent beer. I'd recommend to anybody who loves sours. It's a sipper, and I think even though it's probably relatively low ABV, you really want to take your time with this beer. So.
All right. Well, let's do the reveal. You're right on the apricot.
Yeah.
The ABV 7.4%, so it's not that low.
Not too low.
So let me do the reveal.
Our Sanders.
Oh, Cascade.
Nice.
Yeah.
Very cool. This is my first Cascade.
Yeah, me too.
So I picked up these bottles on my trip in San Diego.
Nectarine and apricot, same thing.
Yep. Yeah, you're very close. So it's Cascade Brewing Apricot Ale. They're known for making Northwest-style sours. It can be found in many markets around the country. Not ours, though. I think North Carolina. And, I walked into a bottle shop in San Diego had my eyes set on something else, and they were displayed. I was like, that's it. I'm getting that.
Nice.
So, Andrew, are you surprised I picked a sour for a review, and how does it stack up to other sours you've had?
This stacks up with any of them. I'm honestly, When I do think of sours, I do want something maybe a little more kind of fruit forward like this. So I mean, honestly, as far as the sours, and I mean, I'll admit I like the style, but I haven't had as many as there are. But this is my favorite by far.
Dave, you were close on your guess with the fruit. You know, the nectarine, peach thing, and apricot's in the same family. Now that you know it's apricot, can you pull out the apricot, or is it still kind of the fruitiness of the...
Again, I get that a lot from the smell. You know, the smell does give me that sweetness that I would expect from an apricot or a nectarine. As far as the taste, though, I mean, just like Andrew or Mark mentioned, I mean, I was a little bit surprised. I think you mentioned that as well, that, you know, you would not think that it would taste, you know, like that. But I mean, reading a little bit more on it right now on the bottle when you were interviewing with the other guys, I mean, I can see how, you know, it's barrel aged for one, so I can see how that would change the complexity of the fruit that was used in this particular beer. But I am surprised. I would not expect this to be a nectarine. I was just saying, hey, this pulls on the smell of it.
So Mark, you gave it a 9.
Yes.
I was going to ask if you'd seek this out again. So
Absolutely.
And so, as a guest panelist, someone who's been a fan of the show, what are your thoughts of this whole setup? A lot of people don't realize what goes into it. So,
Oh, it's a very professional endeavor you guys got going on here.
except for the panelists and hosts.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're just a bunch of dorks.
It's a real privilege to be here, and you know, I'm very impressed with the level of production. Been impressed with the Ohio team, and it's continuing well in the greater DC and Northern Virginia area. So thank you.
Awesome. Well, great. Cascade Apricot Ale gets an 8.7 on the BBA scale. Have you had this? Have you had anything else from Cascade? And have you had sours? What are your thoughts? Leave your comments in the comment section. I'm Richard Hartogs, and this is your Better Beer Authority.
Better